Hello, my dear students. Again we are on our online class. Today I am going to complete the lesson with the lesson that I have taken you in the last class, last spring. Today let us complete the third stage, This part is taken from Stories of Stolen Youth or by Anish Jung. Now, first we have gone through the part of the rag pickers of Simapuri. They have migrated from Bangladesh in 1971 after they had a very severe Indian storm and flood. So they totally devastated all their properties, all their cultivating land, and they lost everything. They could not survive there, so they marched towards India at that time. And there was not much restriction on the border, so they came in large numbers. They came, and at that time there were 10,000 people. They came and settled near or the outskirts of New Delhi, which is called Simapuri. That part we have studied well. And they did not know any other job, only or any other work, only they wanted to survive. They were bothered only about their own, at least their own bread and butter. For that purpose, they settled at Simapuri, which was something very small hut, temporary huts they were using to dwell with. At that time, it was very difficult for them to go outside and found out any other job or any other work. Here we are talking about the depression of the springtime of our children. Those children below 22 or on the adolescent stage, they were totally deprived from their education, their secondary education, all along with their primary education, only because they could not survive in any way. So we are here to discuss the pitiable or deplorable condition of these boys, of these children, not only boys, of these children. They led a life of very sympathetic and we feel it much sorrow and pity towards them, because they could not survive in any way. They could not find out any job in India, and the government of India at that time was not ready to provide or facilitate any type of facilities for them. And also, in short, they themselves found a way of their earning for their bread and butter. That we have discussed earlier. Now, every morning we could see a long line of marching troops, a long line of boys with carrying their sacks and belongings on their back, and there was crouching here and there in all the garbage pits and all the litters in order to collect anything and everything. Their aim was to get at least sometimes maybe rupees 1, sometimes it may be rupees 10 or whatever it may be, or sometimes a piece of plastic material, sometimes a torn shoe, or sometimes a torn shirt, whatever it may be, whatever it might be, they were scrounging every nook and corner, all the dust bins and all the litters, in order to collect something, or in order to get something, whether in the form of cash or in the form of material. And if they got any material that could be exchanged in terms of money, they would collect it, and with that amount they were leading, or they were surviving their food, and that we studied earlier. And they had only one identity card with them, and that was only their ration card, and that ration card was mainly supplied by the then government only for getting their franchise or their vote. And they did not want any identity in India, they want only the identity of getting food, in order to get free from starvation, famine. They were striving hard, or taking their maximum effort to have something for them to feed themselves and also to their parents. So such a pitiable condition was there, living in a sacks or half-thatched homes, half-thatched homes. That homes were very crumbling, and that doors were wobbling, doors were wobbling, and the lanes that we are coming. One day wanted to see the lanes or the areas that they were dwelling. So one day our author was taken to that area. The author was narrating that a particular area, we could say that it was a slum area of this rack, because it was not at all tidy one, very untidy area, not at all hygiene one, and all sorts of lacking was there, and people were suffering in a very hazardous position was there, and very closely constructed thatched homes, half built, some are even started, and in that small stingy rooms are very stingy, and also stinging one, that means bad smell or filthy one. So the writer could not move freely to that place, and she was thinking of how could they live collectively in that particular area. She could not even describe the pitiable or deplorable condition of those people, especially the children. They are totally deprived, or their prime time is totally lapsed from getting education. So all these were the condition. Really know that time, these children, if they were given good education, they might have become good citizens of the whole world, not only to their country, but that would be an asset, or that would be a good resource for the whole nation, in the form of mental work, or in the form of physical work, or in the form of intellectual abilities like that. But they were totally deprived from all these areas. My dear students, this is the case in almost all poor or all undeveloped countries. Still, this is the condition that we could see everywhere. In India also, certain states we could have this picture. For example, certain countries or certain areas of Bihar, Orissa, and also in areas of West Bengal, we could see such deplorable or such pitiable condition, and a very extensive area of these types of people. They would often migrate from one place to another when they find suitability and when they found the feasibility of getting some better life, some better job, or some better manual work, or some better earnings in order to provide or in order to support their family or their children. So, our author or our narrator or our writer roamed here and there and found a very pitiable condition. There the narrator could see one thing. There the narrator when she entered in the home, we could not say it was a home, it was a hut. And when she opened that thatched, half thatched or the bobbling door, she could see an aged lady was there. She could not see. She was totally blind. The blind due to that field we could say no. That area we have to come in short. Meanwhile, the rag pickers of Simapuri, there no, the author asked one important question to rag pickers. Once among those one person was there. This lesson we have two parts that I have told you earlier. The one is connected to rag pickers. The other is second part is connected to Firozabad. There bangle makers or they are making bangles. Firozabad is very famous in India. That place Firozabad bangles are very famous throughout India, and in each nook and corner that bangles are really moving, and sometimes it may be in our own area, but we are not bothered about the conditions or the backbone of the people who are working behind this construction, behind this making bangles. So it is very important. So our author once visited one of the bangle makers' room. There the author, when she enters into a very filthy area, and after that she got into a small thatched house, and the doors were and the walls were half made with certain cupboards and other things, and the doors were wobbling, and very filthy condition, very poor condition, and no hygiene was there, and very heartless condition was there. The authority did not give any facilities for these people, for those people to live there. In short, it was a symbol of very sorrow and sad and grief. When she entered into a home, she could see an old lady was there. The lady could not see them. She was totally blind. Due to very early stages, they are molding and they are soldering bits of bangle piece. With that in a stingy room, there was no air, no fresh air, and no light. Always in a dark, stingy, foggy mood. They were sitting in that situation, that particular room, and they were molding, or they were soldering or refining these bangles. For a prolonged period or for a long continuous period of this hardship or this studious work made almost all the elders totally blind. So author could see one lady, an aged lady was there, and our author exchanged their views or exchanged interaction, and she could collect the information with regard to their work, and she told that was the only survival. They were doing that only for getting a little bit of food, and they could have no rest, and they won't have no comfortable room, they won't have no air there, and they were totally separated from the mainstream of common people. So that was a very pitiable or very what was a heartbreaking scene. So she told one thing, at last she told that God has given each and everybody a particular sort of particular track through which we are traveling, through that track we are getting or we are suffering. So she could see that very pitiable or poor condition of that condition of that stance. Then again she asked many questions to them. Finally she could understand the very pitiable condition of the whole these bangle makers. Among those, lastly our author asked one important question, whether they could form a cooperative sector. That is a very important question that put forward, that came from our side, from our authors, whether they could formulate a cooperative enterprise. Cooperative enterprise or cooperative establishment there, for getting better amenities, for getting better shelter, for getting better earnings, for having better surround or better environmental condition. No, that is quite possible. That questions automatically this question comes from our side when we see such a situation anywhere in our area also. Can you unite together? Can't you unite together and again can't you demand for a general or a somewhat better formulation or somewhat better convenience to the concerned authority? The reply was something very surprising and shocking one. They had such a thought in their mind. Before asking this question, the people of Firozabad, they thought of such a concept, whether they could unite together. At Firozabad, there were nearly 20,000, more than 20,000. There were nearly 20,000 people were there. So they could, they discussed in, that concept or that thought was there in each and everybody's mind. The thing was that whether they would put forward this formula or this planning or this idea to the concerned authority or in front of the management or in front of the concerned bureaucrats, very cruel and very destructive answer and punishment would be entertained. They really scared about one thing. We could see everything at present also, the whole development, the whole administration, the whole opinion, the whole suggestion and the whole credential, potential formula, everything, whatever it may be, everything is directly or indirectly connected to certain areas of human people, certain areas. Here, they are afraid of one sahukars. In North India, we can see, but it is very rare in Kerala. Sahukars means money lenders. They are really all the money lenders. We know that money lenders are a very big or a supporting gang of criminals for doing all sort of atrocities in order to get or in order to stand there, in order to get the opposition or the opponent group to be destroyed. So they always maintain a strong group of criminals, atrocities, a criminal's destructive power that would be there on their side for all these evil or vicious activities. So here also Sahukas. The second was middlemen. We can see middlemen are everywhere. Middlemen are there. Middlemen means a mediator for. Suppose you are going to how we are going to sell, or we are going to give something, or even if we are exchanging a simple hand or a god to our neighbor, then only we would seek the advantage of a middleman. That is a customary habit everywhere. So they were also a threatening factor for our bangle makers, Firozabad bangle maker. They would threaten them. Then the third category comes the police. Police, though they are their duty, they are really called the lawmakers or the law and order makers of our country. We expect much justice, much favor, and much impartial ruling from this wing. But truly we would say that in almost cases we do not get such unexpected word or deed from the side of this policeman. That's the case there. Then comes bureaucrats. That means bureaucrats means our employees. Our employees, a peon from village office to the Indian Union President, Rashtrapati, when we can include all that, all this long line or this long chain in this category. So the employees, they would also threaten them. They would never give such a chance for these bangle makers to formulate or to organize a cooperative sector and to start and to rebuild their life by sending their children to school, by having a good employment opportunities, for leading a good life in future. But the bureaucrats won't allow it. In some area, except in Kerala, that is still prevailing. The bureaucrats are really the most important obstacle or barrier in front of all our development in our process. In front of all development process. They may create, or they may do, they may put forward, they may ask very unnecessary questions or asking to complete various files and purpose in order to withdraw our chance from that field. They are not sincere in most cases. Only very few bureaucrats are sincere and committed workers. Others are merely they are working for someone, only for getting their monthly allotted salary. So that is the case in India. The development process in India, that means these bureaucrats are tempted for corruption, grafting, bribery. So they won't allow Firozabad bangle makers to unite together and to formulate a cooperative sector. Or they didn't want those people to become a better position or to be lifted to a higher plane of opportunities. That we have to understand. Then another wing, the middle bureaucrats, finally comes the politicians. No, these points are equally applicable to in every sector, the present time also. In our left and right side or front and back side and the all extensive area, wherever we go, we could see that the whole development process or the all strategical developments in our country all the advancements have these pullings from various areas. The person concerned or the group concerned won't allow something to be done in a better manner if their pockets are not filled sufficiently or abundantly. That we can see everywhere. So, finally politicians came. Everything, whether it is good or bad, it has a wheel of politics. That is a customary thing in everywhere. Whatever you do in society or in person, it won't be assessed or evaluated, or it won't be examined on a rating scale of virtuous manner or in a rating scale of true or false. It is mainly examined or it is mainly assessed by political arena. In both sides, there won't be any question whether it is right or wrong, but there stands one question: who does that mistake or who does that work, representing or supporting only in terms of a particular colored flag of a particular identity of politics. That means politics is once Socrates nearly 1500, before 2000 years, 2500 years back, Socrates given politics is the dirty game of the wretched people. Now it is almost clear in everywhere that we have seen. So on all these cases, the police came and they threatened they would take a lot of illegal actions against these bangle makers and arrest them and punish them severely, cruelly, and destroyed, and they may set fire for their hatchery or temporary shed, and they may thrash them. All these are generally happening. Presently, it is also happening everywhere in India. So, why could we think about in those days? So, on all these agencies are all these scared agencies for them. So, they could not even think of organizing or formulating a cooperative sector for a better life or for a future betterment for their coming generation, or for their children to go to school and for a better living as a good civic person, or for better livelihood, or let them let them enjoy the mainstream of Indian citizen. All these were banned for them only because discretion was the discretion on the basis of region, discretion on the basis of, and a lot of matter was there. So, the main thing that we could see here, the discrimination with regard to everywhere, discrimination is the discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, religion, region, language. So, those people who came and settled, or those people who came as refugees and settled in the peripheries of New Delhi were not counted as human beings, were not counted as mainstream people, were not counted as citizens in any manner. The last category politicians, that was their duty to give them ration card as an identity, only to get their votes for winning their election. They wanted such a particular viewpoint was the prevailing in the eyes of politicians. So, other narrated both incidents, the both events or both happenings or both occurrences, both one at Simapuri, fully with the condition of making the condition the rag pickers were, that was a common sight everywhere. And again we come to Firozabad we could see bangle makers over there, but they were all ill health. Finally they became very ill healthy, they were fatigued, and they were totally discarded the mainstream of the people of India. Okay, here one important question, one important area comes with Mukesh. No, Mukesh was really, he was one among this bangle makers. He was one among the bangle makers, but our author asked everybody, did they have any particular ambition or particular viewpoint in their mind, or any particular idea or change of profession in their mind, or particular or distinct formation of dream in their mind? But everybody unanimously told they didn't have any other dream. They are born in this bangle making unit, and they would continue with that, and they would also expect to die in that field. So they didn't have any other expectation in their life. But here another important character was Mukesh. Mukesh was he was a particular person who had a particular distinctive objective way or objective goal in his mind. What is that goal? He told that he wanted to become a motor mechanic. No. What actually we would see from this comment? Mukesh was really a bangle maker, but he had a very golden dream in his mind. He wanted to become a motor mechanic. They asked why, how could it possible? He told that there was a very closer to that area, there was when workshop was there, he would go there and he would learn how to drive a vehicle, and he could see in Firozabad so many vehicles are plying. With that, from that, he would have got the inspiration and the motivation of becoming a mechanic. And the other asked, what about becoming a pilot in an aeroplane? Immediately his answer came, he responded in another way, that very rarely he could see planes are flying over Firozabad. And he told that it was quite impossible for him to reach in the realm of that particular area or arena. So his ambition was, here the father wanted to exhibit or project explicitly this idea to us, mainly because we should never discard anybody or anyone in our classroom or outside. Suppose we may discard a person only because of his only body structure, only because of his personality, maybe he has an ill personality, but there might be some good qualities or some credentials, some dreams in his mind, some projective element would be there in his mind. It would give a lot of expansion to a country or to a family, or at least to his working area. That we have to understand. So Mukesh has such a very broad-minded dream, and if that could be possible, if that could be fulfilled, he would become, definitely he might have become a good mechanic and might have shifted from his area to that area, to that mechanic area, or he had a strong combination with the Indian citizens or Indian stream of work, Indian workers, and he would also mingle with our Indian people, and would unitedly he might have built a new horizon of scope. So, our author very clearly and vividly explained both these two sections here. So, we have to see that some sort of sympathy and empathy and kindness and also a sort of charity mind should be there for these downtrodden people, but we should not be left them as a pittance of displeasure or a burden of inconvenience or a stock of what we say vicious circle. So, my dear students, this is a very important lesson as far as know, and Anish Jung being a very important Hyderabad based writer, columnist, and her works are highly honored and appreciated. She could put forward or bring forth all these pitiable conditions of the people, and thus to make it an opener to the ruling class, to the lower section of our society, and make a good turn and make them some sort of help, or at least some sort of words towards them. That is what we have seen in this lesson. So, go through all aspects, go through all areas in deep, and if you find, I think there may not be much difficult words are not here. You may come, you may do, and you may do all the exercise connected. I shall give you questions and do accordingly, and go through all the lines of each lines of your textbook and find out the different words and set all the points in an order of folder and bring it back for good writing in your examination, and also for the good remembrance of all the incidents what happened in both sections of society. Okay, thank you all.